Well, tonight, anybody that wants to bring anything in front of the board, we'll have a 3-minute limit on it, and there will be no interruptions while that person is talking. Okay? Okay, I believe you folks were first to come in tonight. Would you like to start this off?
Are you looking at me, sir? If that's your desire, of course.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Can you state your name and address when you stand up and before anybody starts talking, so we'll have a record of it?
Of course, Mr. Roberts, I can.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm Mike Remick. My family and I live in Pine Creek Township. I'm Michael Francis Remick, not to be confused with my son Michael J. Remick and his family that live in Woodward Township. I'm here tonight to address the board in general, and Mr. Lucas in particular. And Mr. Lucas, I don't want to discuss the legal outcome of the charges against you. That'll be between you, opposing attorneys, and of course the judge to decide. Having said that, sir, you've taken an oath of office to uphold the United States Constitution and that of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I'm speaking for myself right now. I'm very concerned about the charges against you for perhaps not only not withholding your oath of office, but maybe going deliberately against that in the charges that appear that you've already admitted to. Now, having said that, Mr. Lucas, I'm also here with Michelle Whitney. She and I have a website that you may be acquainted with. It's called Clinton County Watchdogs. Notwithstanding that, sir, there's about 2,800 members, mostly from Clinton County, that are members of the Watchdog group. It's on the internet. You can visit that if you're inclined. And we're taping this, recording this event here tonight and everything that's being said. Having said that, perhaps at the end of the meeting, if you're inclined to give your statement as to the charges against you, we'll certainly willing to put that on the Watchdog site without comment and put it on there exactly as you might compose that statement. Now back to my personal viewpoint, sir. Given the strong potential that you violated your oath, I'm not entirely sure you're fit to hold your office. No, I'm not going to call for your resignation. I'm going to stop just short of that based on what it is you might say, if anything at all. And if you're not inclined to speak to your constituents, that's fine, that's up to you. But I am concerned about your violation of the Constitution, potential, violations, and even the perception that gives the public of mistrust. Thank you very much, sir.
I'd like to respond to that.
Please do, sir.
First of all, it's pending in court, and there's not going to be any statements tonight by anybody. Second of all, you have no standing to come here and demand anything because you don't live in this township. And I don't care about the Clinton County Watchdog or anybody else. If you don't live in this township, whatever you have to say is irrelevant. That's my comment.
May I comment to yours, sir?
Sure.
Well, I appreciate your opinion very much, Mr.
I appreciate
Roberts.
yours.
Thank you very much. Notwithstanding that, I do have a standing to visit anyone that has an idea to come visit this public meeting about concerns is free to do so. So no, I'm not a resident of Dunnstable Township. Correct. But many of our constituents on the Clinton County Watchdog site are. So we'll have to agree to disagree, sir, and I thank you.
Well, when you present one that's from the township, we'll listen to them.
Okay. I understand your position. Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you had just said. Could you repeat that?
I'm not repeating it. I said it
I'm
once.
sorry. I did not hear what you had said.
Well, you should
said
have
you
been
didn't-
listening then. Too bad.
Wow. My name is Michelle Whitney. I live at 1037 Partridge Circle, Block Haven, but it's actually Sagamore Hills. I'd like to remind you that although we may not live in this township enjoys at least, I promise you, 50% of its monies from federal and state taxpayer money. And we
Do
all
you
pay
have proof
that.
of that?
But it's true for every township.
Let me see it.
Well, I can bring it to you at the next meeting.
We're here now, let's see it now.
I don't understand the animosity. Or why
I'm not
you
animosity,
feel
I'm
that
just
it's
making a
necessary
statement. You made a
to
statement,
shout
I'm
people
asking you
down.
to prove
And I
it.
also was under the understanding that this gentleman said it's 3 minutes uninterrupted. Now
Well, go
this is
ahead,
my
then.
3 minutes. So it's on my website, the County Watchdog group and Facebook. And one of the things that was stated was, it's just a sign. But it's not just a sign. There's more to it than that. That's superficial. That's top layer stuff. It's the point that this is actually an infraction upon somebody's constitutional rights. It's an infraction against their freedom of speech when you're taking something as their property. When they're saying, hey, look me, boom, here I am, I'm in the ground. And you upset that, then you are infraction, or you are impending an infraction upon their constitutional right.
What law school did you go to?
The constitutional one.
What law school did
I
you
don't
go to?
understand. You are now interrupting me again. Is there no level of respect or decorum here? What is the hostility for? I don't understand. I'm here as a public person, speaking at a public meeting with concerns. I think that I
With
have,
no standing.
well, that may be the point.
That is the point.
Lee, you'll have to leave her,
Go
buddy.
I just have something very simple to say. I'm not here to be mean, rude. I'm not going to attack the gentleman. I wouldn't have known you if I would have stepped over you in an alley. But to treat people like this, it's not acceptable at all. We're all in this together. The foundation of our country starts here, at the township level. I will argue with anybody head to head on that any day of the week. We are only as strong as our townships are. And we have people at the helm who are not ethically doing and what they are morally and ethically responsible to do. It's not a matter of law. It's a matter of, am I going to do the right thing today? And by stealing somebody else's signs, Mr. Lucas, that is not leadership. I was going to come here tonight and ask you for your resignation. And I'm actually still going to ask you for your resignation. I think you have things to learn. I think that maybe you should redeem yourself and come back at a later time and show the people, show your constituents what you truly are capable of. But for right now, you're sitting in a blemished state because you made a bad choice. But guess what? We all make bad choices, don't we? Bad choices. I've been there, done that. And we can all redeem ourselves. So, I'm asking you to redeem yourself. Take a break. Handle your business. Come back and run again. Thank you.
Lee?
You're the same group that appeared in Renova where 52 people raised $1.5 million to get the electric plant, and you and your small group are against it. Isn't that true?
How is that relevant to tonight
Isn't
and
that
here?
true?
I don't understand what's the point of the question?
Mr. Roberts, that's partially
This is
true.
irrelevant.
Some are for it and some are against it. That's partially
Well,
true.
she's against it.
I can't speak for her.
I don't think you have any right to speak for me, sir. I don't understand. Why are you so hostile to me?
I'm one of the people
I
that
came
raised
in
the
here, I'm
money.
not hostile.
I put
had
money
a
in.
nice conversation. I don't care about your personal investment.
Oh, I do.
I don't.
I know. You stick your nose where it doesn't belong.
If you want to welcome a power plant to go live a football field away from people's homes, if you want to sell them off so you can get your investment back and you can sleep well at night, you go.
Okay, that's enough. We're done.
We're not going anywhere.
Moving on to the next person.
Personal.
Yep, starting personal.
Agreed, Clay. Anyone else would like to bring anything forward?
I would.
Steve?
It's nothing about my units.
Well, good.
What I'm here tonight for, Bob, is with the court order and stuff on the line, we have now, Woodward Township has marked all the positions that has been requested by the court.
Okay.
The only thing is if you want in between those long stretches. We don't feel it's necessary, but, if you feel it's necessary,
That thing was put up in 1843. That's why we were fighting about it. And we're gonna be gone by the time there's ever a problem again. If you guys wanna mark it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine also.
Now, we marked all the corners.
Well, the corners, but there's big miles
but I
in
mean-
between there.
I'd like to comment on this situation. I have a dog that barks, but it doesn't bark like the other dogs. But anyhow, my dog started barking one afternoon, and he took up off the ridge. I had people on my property, and doing stuff without me knowing what they were doing. And I said to the one guy, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm marking these trees." And I said, "Why?" And he says, "Because that's my job." He wouldn't tell me anything. I said something, I think to Corey about it. And he said, "Oh, you had said something about, well, they're marking for the township." And so I would have appreciated it as a property owner. I mean, we own 40 acres on this side of the road and 25 or 30 acres on the other side of the road. And I've had it surveyed 3 times. I just wish somebody from the county would have told us as a property owner that they're gonna be marching on their property.
We didn't know exactly when, but we thought it might happen at some
Somebody
point.
said, well, that's fine, but I still think it would be
It has nothing to do with the boundary line, it has to do with the township line.
Yeah, well, the top of the hill is supposedly Woodward Township, and where our property begins is Dunnstable Township. We're in the border, supposedly.
I don't know where the line is, but I'll take your grant.
Well, I'm just telling you, my family's been living supposedly in that house since 1830, isn't that what it is, Robert? Okay, so, I mean, we've been here for a while. Your family, I don't know how long the Loves have been here, too. But like I said, my dog, I've had people literally cut trees off my property. When Mountain Man lived in his place, he took those trees out. Well, he ended up paying me for those oak trees he cut down on my property. Okay?
But if we're okay with the way it is,
If anybody can find it or it never becomes an issue again, we're
Well-
fine with it.
they cemented the pens and stuff in.
I was just gonna say, what did they do off the road, Wayne? Like,
At the corners,
yeah,
he went in and actually cemented pens in.
okay, so it's not what I was getting. It's not just a tree with 3 fletches on it
No.
or something like that. It's,
Now, there's actual pens put now.
okay.
They put something up there, too. There's something up in the hill, in the ground.
Yeah, it's not a monument, it's a
No,
pen.
it's just
Cemented in.
no
Well, I see they put signs,
No more big rocks? No big
Woodward
rocks.
signs, so, you know, which, that's fine.
Well,
Woodward.
one of the
Do you
reasons
think-
that you guys wanted, we lost was there was monuments before, but they didn't have any names.
I was just gonna
as
say,
to
should
what
we-
they were for, so they didn't know whether they were real monuments or property lines, but.
Should
That's
we
fine.
order half a dozen to put on the backside of it? I mean, obviously, if you're coming out of Dunstable, you obviously know you're going into Woodward, the sign's right there. But should we order something to put on the backside of their sign? I mean, I don't think you would care, would you?
No.
You know, that says Dunstable Township on it, so.
They won't remember.
I know, I know, they should.
You gotta bring that before the board as a motion.
I mean, that's up, what do you guys think?
Discussion, I guess, or.
I mean, you're welcome to the use of our post.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, you could easily, I mean,
No, rental.
We're not gonna be like TPN.
Why don't we bring it up?
Yeah.
It never hurts to have it.
we'll table that.
I mean, we were walking around for miles looking for posts, and one surveyor says it's this way, and the other one says it's that way, and all
Talking on the roads.
Just on the
No,
road
no,
where
on
they
the
put
road,
their
on the
signs.
road is all right.
Yeah, just on the roads.
But the pins in the center of the road, the first time you oil and chip or resurface it, you know, put a leveling course or anything on it, those pins are history.
Oh, yeah.
They're
And you
under
put
an inch
it
and
on
a
the
half.
sides of the road?
Amosite.
No, they drove, the pens are dead center in the road.
Yeah,
How about one on the side, so once
I mean,
it's,
uh,
you put a layer on them, it disappears.
I mean, we could drive one by the post.
Wayne, are you going to do anything with the cul-de-sac on the end of Harmon's Road there?
Probably not, because we've never got a penny of liquid fuels.
Okay, well, there's our trucks that go up there and turn around, garbage trucks and oil trucks and things like that, you know, so. I just wondered whether you was gonna take care of that or.
I mean, we've never received 1 cent of liquid fuels for anything.
Did the county get as far as to submit it to Clearfield?
They were supposed to, according to that.
I know,
They
that
were
Mark
taking
guy
care
out
of
there
The
was
county, yeah, we're not doing that.
No, that's
the
not
county.
either township, but it's the counties. They were supposed to submit it to Clearfield and then have the roads remeasured for your liquid fuels calculation.
Yeah, and I don't even know if,
I don't,
has all the residents that's involved in notified.
I don't know.
The county's gotta do that.
We never saw a letter or nothing.
I mean, we haven't seen.
I know, it probably have to be tabled then again.
Yeah.
From that
Until we get
meeting when
further
we had that
clarification
day.
on it.
Yeah, at the Piper Building.
I haven't heard anything since then.
We haven't heard anything.
Is there anything else, Wayne?
No, that's it.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, I'm a resident of Dunnstable Township. I live next door. I share property, all this property down here. From the park, from Janie Portman's house up, basically. At one time, my father-in-law lived in Janie Portman's house. Did he sell it to you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I have no argument with you being here tonight, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
I have no argument with you being here. But I agree that I have, as a taxpayer, this township, more relevance than you.
I agree.
I worked in Harrisburg for 35 years, 6 weeks and 7 hours. I worked for the Speaker of the House, for the Democratic leader. I worked with Republicans, the Democrats, both Republican and Democratic administrations. I saw many legislators that are arrested in Harrisburg for doing things that they would not do at home. Primarily drunk driving, and more drunk driving. That violated their oath and their constitution, the constitutional rights of their citizens. Not one of them ever resigned, not one. And they get paid a hell lot more than these guys. And quite honestly, a lot of them never did a day's work compared to what these guys do, okay? When you're young, I was there, I just turned 70 in October. You do some dumb things. We all do dumb things. You said you've done some dumb things. But I don't think those actions warrant it. I remember a good friend of mine by the name of Rich Ardner.
Know him well.
I know you do. He was Director of Public Works in the City of Lock Haven. He was arrested because 20 years prior to that, he put a bypass to his water system. And when the Redevelopment Authority went and bought the house, they found it. He was prosecuted. He was the highest city employee next to the manager. He never resigned. He was a former PennDOT executive. He ran the PennDOT office. He never resigned. I don't think his actions warrant him resigning. I don't think he betrayed the Constitution of the United States. I don't think he betrayed the people of this township. Okay? I mean, I know that Mr. White, I've known him for years. That shit happens, all the time. I've been involved in political campaigns since
I know that you have, sir.
1968. Okay? And I took down signs. I put signs up. I put more signs up. And I remember when we collected signs after the election, Tom Bossert said, "Do you have all the signs you took down, including the ones?" And I said, "Tom, I got all the signs in one barrel. If you want them, you can have them for your next election." Okay? So, I think it's, in my opinion, it's water of the dam. He's paying the price for his actions. And that's how I feel. And as a resident, I have no problems with any of these gentlemen, and I have no problem with Mr. White. I didn't vote for Mr. White. I voted for my cousin. Okay? All right? That's family. All right? But I have nothing against Bill. Nothing. Okay? So those are my comments. Okay? And I respect your rights. I really do. Okay. Thank you.
And by the way, Bill and I stood out there together
And it's Mike?
and passed out different things,
All
you know, all day, and our wives done the same thing. You know, there is no animosity between Bill and I.
Yeah.
I lost by 4 votes, so I gave him a run for his money.
We've been friends for over 30 years.
They'll make a good supervisor, I'm sure. Is there anybody else that has anything to bring in front of the board?
Yes, my name's Dave Truice. On your back page here about your expenses, is that 114,000 what you got left?
Yeah, that's between all of our accounts.
Okay, my questions are, the right of way on Weaver Hill Road, how wide is it? That's one. What are we gonna do about the trees? And is the right of way, I was told it was 50 feet. Does it go straight up or is it 50 feet at the ground? Trees lean in, okay?
Yeah, all
I-
over.
right.
Everywhere.
I know. I'm tired of calling the comm center because I can only get out one way with my tractor trailer. I'm a business owner here too. You can come down the hill, you have to call the comm center if there's a tree down. We have, after storms, we have drove down the road, come around and drove back up the road to make sure there's no trees down. 3 hours later, tree down. Okay, that's one of the questions.
Can I answer these one at a time?
If I get more time, that's fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine. One thing is, one of us always makes a round after a windstorm or the snowstorms and so on.
Okay.
To especially look for trees down. And one of our main concerns is you, because we've talked about this before.
Right.
You know, and we do try to keep the roads very, very clear.
Okay.
And
On the tree issue, I talked to Robert today, but I want to talk to you guys. When you call the comm center, is one of you three on call?
yes,
All three of us.
All three of us
All
are.
three of us.
Okay, then why did the fire company have to come out and move that tree on?
they get the same call that
Oh,
we do.
but you guys don't get it first? or-
Robert, I think you guys get dispatched first.
We usually, and I told you that,
Right.
we normally get dispatched first, they are notified. Okay,
Well,
if
I-
they have somebody in the area that beats us there, that's fine, we go home. But this is part of the fire companies, and Dave can verify this, because he's been involved years ago too. It's part of one of our services to the community. That's why we're notified first. This has been forever.
Okay. I have a couple other questions, quick.
Okay, good.
Snow season's here. The drivers you have, are they gonna push the snow back the first time so it don't freeze? Or are they gonna wait till the road starts creeping in? Because Weaver Hill Road is not that wide. And the thing is, I come down and I can't get stopped because it's icy or snowy. The person on the left is going in the ditch. Okay, right now, because like there at Plotz's, there's not very much of a berm. And you should know, you start calling a tow truck out for me, it's in the thousands. It's not $200 or $300 or $500. So you need to plow this back the first time.
Well, we just had a meeting with our snowplow drivers, and they've had their orders to plow back.
Okay.
So we'll take it from
And,
there.
and I think the last one is when in the spring when you guys start cleaning ditches. I know you guys love to do that, but isn't there a degree on how deep you dig the ditch? Because what I'm seeing, and probably everybody else here, is once you start gouging the ditches out, then eventually the rain comes, and then you start getting erosion. I can see if you're going to gouge the ditches out, come back and plant. Plant grass is something to hold it from erosion. I don't understand why we have to dig them so deep. And on our road, some places you have taken the railroad ballast out from where that road was put in. Did the WPA put that road in years ago?
I don't have a clue.
CCCs,
They
yes.
did.
Okay, so I guess I'm trying to listen to what everybody has told me. And I can't see if digging out that railroad ballast or digging the edge of the roads down so bad. I mean, I fought with John and you know, I went to you supervisors when I put my driveway in, and John says, put a pipe here, a pipe up there, and one at the top. And I brought you over because I was freaking jacked. Because John, right across that pipe I put down, he put a 4-inch gouge or a 6-inch gouge right across the pipe. And I just, and you looked at it, it's like, I don't know why he did that.
I didn't.
And I don't see this gouging.
Well, he probably misjudged how deep that pipe was.
Dave, can I
That's what
answer
happened.
some of your questions here?
Well, I'm really concerned about you when you guys gouge the road.
Well, that's what- It's hard, believe me. I run the grader. My dad's run the grader. We're the only two that I've ever seen besides Randy. We're the only three that I've ever seen in this grader in Dunnstable Township. It's hard when you're sitting up there 10 feet looking down with your hands on controls, your hands on a wheel, your hand on the brake, or your foot on the brake and the throttle at the same time. And down at your neighbor's, I hit his driveway last year.
Yep.
You know I did.
Yep. And
I felt horrible about it. I can't even
you
think
guys
of it.
had to replace
Yes,
that
we
spot.
did. We did fix that spot. And he was understanding. Lawrence, your father actually came out, and I said, Lawrence, I have no idea who lives here. And he said, help me out.
Dawn Stringfeld.
Don and Mary Stringfield. He said, if you go up, Bobby, you were the one that went up that day in a T-tag and pounded on the door. And he wasn't there, but she was.
Right,
And
right.
she was very thankful that we let her know. And I felt horrible. We set it back in there right from the mailbox. But I told Bobby, I said, you tell her that is not permanent. We will be back to fix this. So anyways, moral of the story. It is hard when you're looking down and stuff.
This new grader you got, or
Oh, believe me, we didn't have that last year. You know.
well, right? I understand that, but
We
are
had
you
it.
going to be able to control how deep you dig? Because
Oh, a lot
You-
better than the other.
I mean, you work for the state. You know what erosion is.
Oh yeah. But even in the state level though, Dave, we just shoulder cut 150 3 weeks ago. Same thing, grader, belt loader, pulling it out in the road, putting it in a dump truck. And there were spots up by Maslin's farm on 150, clear up at Beach Creek. In front of their yard, it was that deep because I was on a roller. They roll their shoulders after the grader goes through.
Right, I can
Then they
understand.
roll it to help with erosion. And
Right.
it packs that down. Maybe that's something we could look into. And with the reason of the roll, it takes that lip and knocks it down. That you
Right.
can mow it, you can maintain it, you can drive over it.
Right.
I think,
One other thing that I've noticed in some of the other counties, and I get through several of them from time to time, is our ditches aren't half as deep as what some of those are in other counties.
Well, when you get down to where you're taking the railroad ballast out, where the road was started, you're taking the bottom out of the road, and I just don't know why. In some of them, you have to go so deep.
It's true. I had a problem on my property at the far end, and I had an engineer come out. And if not, what he told me is, it was a WPA project.
Right.
And what the guys did, I have all the head walls that were tore out by PennDOT when they put the pipes under the road. They just threw them down the bank, and I went and got them. You go to my backyard, and you'll see the couple walls, the head walls big. But anyhow, I had a big erosion problem by my young walnut tree. And when the guy came, he said what they did is they took that mountain stone and broke it up. They hauled it from over in Wayne Township over here and broke it up with sledgehammer. And that road is the line.
So it's more. It's not
a
four stone or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's not, and it doesn't react the same way that limestone does. That's why they use limestone differently now. So at least that's what the engineer told me.
I'd like to know how old is Weaver Hill Road, roughly.
You can probably go back, I forget where you can find, there's some place in the courthouse where they
It's
record.
older than Jim.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry about that.
That's really old.
I would really like to hear one. I'd like to hear one answer on the 50-foot right of way.
yes.
Does it go
It
straight
goes
up?
Straight up. When you go out 50, it's 25 foot from the center of the road. Center of the road, 25 foot,
Is it
straight
50
up.
foot there, or is
It's not a
it
30.
32 foot?
They say it's 50 foot.
On Von Gundy,
You
I
sure,
have researched that it's 32 feet.
Okay. There's
I don't know about Weaver Hill.
and there is.
Well, the only reason I say because look how far back the inlets are. And that was a state road, that's why I asked.
But I would question too, all the other state roads in this township are 33 feet.
33 feet, yeah, that's right.
33 feet.
Because I have a picture,
I think you'll find that that was the same. You
I
can go
think
back
it's-
and find
Oh,
out.
you could go back, yeah.
but I have a picture, it's this big. And if you look at my house, right where my house is, there used to be a barn across of it. And there's a guy riding a bicycle with wooden wheels down the road. And the road's still dirt, and it's only about that wide. And it was taken over. And,
That was a corn crib, not a barn.
whatever. You're older. To me, it's a barn. I'm a city boy. But the thing is, my mother-in-law said when she was growing up, that road, she said, was only about 3 feet wide.
It was horse and buggy road.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So whatever that width was.
There's a few trees, but there is one that's between Plotz's and Alug's, almost across from Barner's Lane. When that tree comes down, it's taking the power lines, the phone line, and everything else.
Is it on the right of way? Do you know?
If it's 50 foot straight up, I say it's leaning out hard.
It's where the
Well,
base is. though.
even if it's leaning and it's not on the township right of way, we're not allowed to go in and cut it without permission, especially.
Well, I think, if you would ask Al, he wants it taken out. I mean, I don't have no doubt in my mind, any one of these township
Oh,
people.
I'm sure they'd let you take it out.
I mean, that's just, in dead of winter, that comes down, it's taking somebody's power out. And who wants to be without heat in the wintertime?
The only reason I tell you about the straight up, Darren, Dave, you went with me. We measured Island Road for tree trimming. We didn't have the funds to do it because it came in. Just getting, Mike Czar looked at it. He said it is a lot of cutting because it's canopied like this. But he told me to talk to Darren Stover, so I did. Our PennDOT rep. Darren said when townships bid it out, Woodward, you just did this too.
That's me.
Did you guys bid it out from the center of the road over and up?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what Darren told me that townships do. Center of the road over whatever the right of way is. Let's say it's 33, 16 and a half foot from the center and straight up.
Yeah, skylight.
Skylighted,
Okay,
yes.
so I understand sometimes people like to keep the stuff in the township, but on stuff like that, is that put out to bid like you did at Woodward Township?
It would be, yeah. And that's actually, Dave, that's on
And
our.
then all three of you would haul these people around and show them what trees get cut?
Yes, or we can designate one man.
But all three would get the same information. Yeah, Eddie Connect wouldn't get, okay, we're going to do this job, this job, this job. And let's say Czar looked at it and he says, what about that one? Well, I don't know about that one. No. They would all three be there. They would all three get the same information as the next guy would.
And I only got one more thing. One's an Opal Lane, and you know, and I don't know if he does, but every time it rains, he does too, and I can shake his head. There's a mud and dirt issue. Now, I know if it was me, somebody would be hollering.
Then it freezes.
And it freezes. I mean, I know they have this issue down there where Watkins used to live on Little Plum Run.
Yeah, big one.
Oh,
Little Plum, right there, right below Roberts. They used to have it years ago.
Yeah, it's still
The
running.
whole way down through there.
Yep.
Right.
PennDOT won't touch it.
Right. I mean, it never did nothing. But water, yeah, you can put rock salt and stuff on, try to melt it. But what do you do about the stones and the dirt and everything else that comes out?
Corey knows what the answer to that is.
Well, what is it?
The
It
grade.
is, you take a driveway ordinance.
Yep.
You don't use a pipe at the end of it coming downhill, you put a graded trough.
Yep.
No water comes out on the road at all.
Catches every
We
ounce
put
of
one in
water.
our shop years ago because that corner used to always be ice.
Okay.
And I put it in ourselves, we did the company, and we had no issue there anymore.
Now that lane isn't owned by the township.
No.
No, that would be-
But can they be made to make it right so it doesn't do that?
For a safety issue like that, Gene,
He might do it.
and he might do it, and obviously they know the problem they have there.
Right, that would interfere with them coming down out of there also.
No, you're right. It's like a skating rink
Right.
down there.
Yeah, I got, for you who live there, I almost got hit by a truck coming out of there one time.
That roll off used to come down all the time.
Peters.
Yeah,
I don't know which one it was. but
He bought the
fly-
house up
He
there.
did.
yeah, I was going by to go to work and I thought he was gonna broadside me.
And after you get hit in the car,
Hmm.
we got hit uptown on Grove Street and Church.
You're kinda
Yeah, you're a
scared.
little shotgun shot. And every time somebody pulls out, you're either trying to flip them off or want to get out and beat the rat.
That's something should be looked into.
Yeah. Oh, we can look into that, yeah.
I have to grab on the other side of the road, and there's a pipe that comes down and drains all over my side of the road. And I had a problem like that. I have a steep driveway, and I dug a deep ditch on the one side, and all the water goes in the ditch and comes out, and it doesn't go on the road anymore. But I had that same problem because I have a pretty steep driveway.
Well, you live right below the Weavers and Ken McCall.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I had a big ditch, and then this past winter I kept falling into it with my car, so I had to fill with stones. But it works. It works.
You have a
ditch
crown
drains
later,
it
did
all.
you slant it to one side or the other? Slant it?
But it's expensive to do.
I understand that, but I mean,
But it solves the problem.
Okay, you all finished then? Okay. I hope you're satisfied. Oh, does it?
oh, let's talk.
We gave you about 6 minutes.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That was a long
This-
6 minutes.
This is my first time ever coming to one of these, so
That's all right.
maybe I saved it up.
That's a legitimate problem.
See, it isn't your last.
I'd like to come back, yeah, but I'm not gonna complain, I just pick that stuff, I'm
Is it, well, Jan?
I would like to know what the procedure is. For example, when a tree comes down across the road, across from my land, you guys come and you chop it up. You throw it down over my bank.
That's
Why?
wonderful.
I'm trying to make it look good. And this is a bunch of baloney. And I called Mr. Bechtel, and he came and he got most of the large pieces. And it's still one god awful mess, and I am not happy. What is the procedure? Why do you throw it down over on my land?
Well, I'll say
Jen,
right.
could I talk?
Yes, would you please?
Absolutely. And you're talking about the large jack pine, correct?
I have no idea what kind of.
It was
pine
last
it
winter,
was.
right?
It was not from my land.
I got
was
caught
from-
It
Sorry,
was
short.
across the road.
Okay.
I got
That
stranded
fell
by it.
at, I'm gonna say 2:30. It was during an ice storm, actually, in February.
I don't care what it was. Why did you put it in over on my land and just let it lay there?
Jan, please let me finish. That fell in February at 2:30 in the morning. I was working, not here, at PennDOT. Tommy was in bed, Bobby was in bed. The fellows were here plowing, and they come up through there, and bingo. There was this ginormous tree in the middle of the
There
road.
was no snow then, sir. I'm sorry.
Tommy, was there snow on the ground? Because you and your son-in-law went down
No,
there and
there
trenched
was
through
not snow.
Picked it up.
Yes.
Yeah,
There was snow on the ground because I got blocked by it.
Yeah.
I know we picked it up.
But my question is, why is it on my land? Why wasn't it cleaned up?
Well, it should have probably been cleaned up.
Well, yeah, it's a mess, and I can't get and do it.
However, in an emergency, that's probably why it was put down.
Yes, I understand, but why didn't they come and clean it up then?
Okay, well.
Then I have another question also, the
Right.
ditch.
Okay.
Somehow, I don't know why, but, the water comes off that road, and when it rains, we have like a lot of water. And I planted all kinds of crap to try to keep it from coming down over. It was the year before last. They put stones, gigantic stones up along there. We had one god-awful storm. I'm not kidding you. I walked out, and I'm walking with water coming over top my feet. It was headed for my garage. I tried to call you, no answer. Get who I did get a hold of. But my good Lord. In fact, when we went to Florida, we got sandbags and put them in front of the garage in case it happened again.
Well, I think they're still.
They're gone, yeah.
They've been
But
taken
why did
out.
they do that?
I don't know. I didn't even know it was done. till
I
after
can
it was
answer
done.
why they were put there.
Why?
It was washed out between the berm of the road and the bank about that deep. is an emergency fix. We come up and took the loader and a couple buckets of stone down to fill it in so people didn't drop in.
Oh, it was never that deep.
Yes, it was, Janice.
Across the road from where I live.
Randy and I done it. Randy Sorgan and I,
Holy
nobody else was around.
Buckets. You stuck your foot in your mouth when you did that because that was awful. I've never seen water come over there like that before.
Well, the water come off the hill
Well, yeah.
and it washed out. I'm telling you, it was that deep between the edge of the road and the bank. And the roads are narrow.
Then why did you take it out?
Take what out?
The stones are no longer there.
I didn't take the stones out. I put them in.
Well, it's not coming over the bank anymore.
The stones that were in the ditch was taken out.
Yes.
The ones that were, covered the hole.
Well, the stones were removed. I think that's why the doggone water came down over there. I mean, it was over top. It was like up to my ankles. I had flip flops on, for God's sakes, and I thought, "Oh my God, here we go." That was stupid.
Kind of give, when things like this happen, I mean, I wasn't there. I don't even know where she lives.
Right down
But-
the road. I've been here
but-
52 years.
But
Right.
I mean, on to save you, I'm not saying she's not saying anything wrong, but can the pictures be taken before the action is done so
Yeah.
you can come back and say,
Sure.
well, this is how deep it. I mean, this is how deep
Exactly.
it was. I mean, to say I no nothing against either one of you, but a picture means $1,000.
Yeah, well, Mr. Lebanon removed trees off of my property.
Yeah, I mean, people in this hall in particular, over the years, we jumped in and helped when nobody was around. Jim and I cut trees off the road one day after a storm so traffic could get through. I mean,
I don't mind.
some of this weather lately, everybody's just got to calm down a little bit. We've had extreme weather. Washed out, roads washed out, berms washed out.
What did you do with the trees when you cut them off?
I didn't, up there,
They're my
Anywhere.
property.
we took them
Anywhere.
over on Jim's property.
Anywhere? Did you let the trees lay in somebody's
Yes.
yard?
Sometimes, yes. Not in their
That's
yard,
the problem.
no, Janice, not
They're
in
down
their
at the
yard.
bank. They're
Not in
Down
the
over the
yard.
bank. That's crazy.
If it's,
That's my property, I can do what the hell I want to
if
with the
it's
trees.
property that is growed up, yes, a lot of times they got put there over the years. If not in somebody's
You
yard.
take a look at that mess.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
Yes, I'm
That
really
shouldn't
ticked.
be.
Jim would have said, "Let it go." Baloney.
Well, it can be corrected.
It can be.
It better be.
We can do that.
May I say something? If those trees are still down there, why don't somebody get down?
That's just what I'm saying.
That's
Sam.
just,
Mr. Bechtel did come and get some of them.
Well, that would
Bless
be
his
part
heart.
of the problem.
The other ones basically told me to take a hike.
Janice, I didn't even talk to you last
Why don't you
year.
get up
I know
at
you
2 o'clock
did.
in the morning then, and then you go cut your own tree
Oh,
off.
all right, yeah, Max.
I got a job, and I'm sure to come in at 2 o'clock in the morning when he calls me to tell me to come in and cut a tree off the road.
Did you cut my tree?
No,
No, I
you
did
did not.
not. I gotta be at work at 7 o'clock then.
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, me too.
My heart pumps purple pea for him.
All right, moving on. We're done with public comment. Everybody
I
has had
got
a...
one thing.
Go ahead, Gail.
I
got
would
so much business.
encourage the township here, whether it's this month, next month, whatever, to seriously consider getting some kind of cameras. Whether it's a blink system or another camera system. The damage that was done to a car here in election day is $9,000 and nobody knows anything. In the last month, I have stopped and closed the back door 2 times. I'm not saying anybody's been in, or it's been left open, blowed open, but the walk-through door down here has been wide open. I just stopped last week again.
Wonder who's leaving that open.
Well, you don't know,
I know.
I'm not accusing anybody, but I think,
When I'm in the township building, before I leave, I check all
and
the doors.
I don't doubt that, well, I'm just saying the walk-through door to the lower garage here, twice in the last month. I come up the road and it's been hanging wide open. And I stopped, last time, last week, the door was not locked and was swinging wide open. The furnace is running.
If you find that again, let me know.
Well, I can. I
Let
report it
Bill know about it,
right away anyway.
because we may know who was in the building at the time.
Well, that's true. Well, that was last Thursday when
And I
Jim, I
I
know
go
you.
walk around
Yeah.
quite a bit. I've nothing else to do.
But I'm just saying, I think it would be a smart move. There's different systems. That link system is very cheap and it's very good. And go to everybody's phone, you know it instantaneously. I just showed him when you drove up my driveway, just like that. That's all I got.
Okay, does anybody else have anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were talking about driveways. Did we ever get the driveway ordinance? I parked on this for how many years?
Uh,
People put in these half-assed driveways, and you gotta live with them the rest of your time. We need a driveway ordinance.
yeah, we've been following PennDOT's recommendations, right?
Yes,
Does
but
the
what he's
township-
saying, what,
Yeah.
do we have our own
Does the
driveway?
township have a
Yeah.
driveway
That's what
ordinance?
he's asking.
That's what I wanna know. And if not, they need to get.
They need to adopt one.
Right.
What would that ordinance consist of?
About constructing, you know what I mean, like site distance and the angle, the drainage. Does Pine Creek have one? Is it something that we could look at?
I just looked at your zoning book for a little bit tonight.
If they had a driveway ordinance, you wouldn't have the problem with it
You
if
need-
there was somebody cutting the
You
shoulder.
guys really need to. look
Well,
at
when I first moved up there, I come to the township and I asked John Lucas. And I don't know if John talked to you or Bob Weiss when he was in. But I talked to John and he says, put one here at the road, put one halfway up and up at the top. And I put 3 pieces, well, probably 3.5 pieces on each place to get the water go over the bank instead of down the road. Well, then when John come over and literally, I want to say it was at least a 4 or a 6 inch drop off where he gouged right over the pipe, and I brought Bob over and he just shook his head. It's like, that's why I was saying about the road, you know, the ditch line. He took a ditch right across the top of the pipe.
No, it should go back in and then up off the road.
Yeah.
I do have one last I want to ask. Is people that in this township, are we still allowed in the wintertime to come and get stone?
Stones, period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then,
That's all.
We've seen people in their salt bin and we can't give them salt.
right, I understand, but there are people ain't coming in here anymore with T-tags and everything else.
No,
That got stopped.
yeah. Well, I hope it did.
You still
Well, I
see
mean,
big dents in the pile though.
Was there anything brought up to try to recoup some of that money that they took
Oh,
out?
absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Come in. There's people here at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I hear them because some people actually bring something to load. They go beep, 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 beep at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I'm nearest. I don't know if Janny can hear it, but the thing is, there's people, in the wintertime, there's people here all the time. People come with front end loaders.
I agree.
But, I mean, do they purchase the stone or whatever they're getting?
Stones residents can take for their driveways.
Right. I have come over with my Kubota
Yes,
and my little
yes.
trailer and got some. But I mean, I heard that, like last year or the year before that people come here with things and just load it up and then they come back and got more.
That's right.
Or when you catch them on July and say, what are you doing? Well, I'm stoning my driveway. No, it's not meant for stoning a driveway. It's meant for the
Well,
winter time.
Been
You
a
should-
couple years.
You should say it's fine, but this is what it's going to cost after you get loaded.
If you had cameras, you would know.
Exactly,
You
Gene.
would know who's doing it.
Exactly.
There you go. Come right back, yes.
Well, what Dale just said about either the blank or some of the other ones that are out there, they're very affordable and
Very cheap.
and you can monitor them for.
Some of them you can see right at your house, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
can buy them at Walmart, I'm pretty sure, like,
You
$35 a piece.
I have them up the
But
shelf.
you gotta have electricity on them.
Right before
Well,
the meeting.
Or a battery.
Battery, battery.
You called your guy. We have kids on the roof.
Okay.
3 o'clock in the morning.
So now it's dark, you can see what's going
Check
on.
your utility
Who's
budget.
next?
Budget.
This building.
Okay,
We'll go
If we got all of our arguments settled, well, let's vote on the budget. It needs to be accepted.
Yes.
They're just
The 2022 budget,
where you want.
it's been advertised since October.
Like 5 years ago.
Well, we looked at it in October, or worked things in October. We advertised in November. I guess it's pretty much set in stone our budget. There was no tax increase.
Correct.
I'm gonna make a motion, we adopt our 2022 budget.
I'll second your motion.
Bob,
All in favor? Aye.
she needed to say something.
Well, when it's my turn.
Well, it is right now.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
Bob Man.
Well, you are, kudos to you. You're very good. You're a good guy for this meeting. I'm just into Clinton County politics, and I think that you're supposed to lead by example. And when I heard that that a sign was stolen, it really floored me. When you go back to the 2020 election, there was no fraud, there was no this, there was no that. And this is why that people say this, you know. When you take an oath for a supervisor position, you're supposed to lead by example. And that's why I'm here at this meeting. It just really upsets me. And this lady here, this was February. Don't cast stones at her. Get the wood cleaned out of her yard, please. And that's about all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the budget, is there anything else we need to bring up to be settled tonight?
The DCED grant, we were denied per a letter.
Yes.
I spoke to Rick Valello, the director of DCED out of Harrisburg. He's local here. He said, don't give your hopes up. Don't give your hopes up.
Oh, okay.
He said,
Well,
I
that sounds good.
strongly encourage you guys to apply for it again to redo Big Plum Run. He said, do not give your hopes up.
Okay, the grant that we've been looking for is for Big Plum Run Road here. PennDOT come down and gave us an estimate on the cost of that at $750,000 to do all Big Plum Run Road. And there's no way we can afford to do that when the township by itself. And if we can get a grant, it would be a sizable grant. And
Don't we have any
that
money
way-
in reserve?
Again?
Don't we have any money in reserve?
Just what's showing on our ledger here. And I think we have about $104,000, and that will be to get through the next 4 or 5 months here. There's little or no money coming in this time of the year to the township. So if we go into the new year with this amount of money, we're pretty safe as far as paying our snowplow drivers and upkeep of our vehicles and that kind of stuff. So-
Don't forget, Bob, $51,000 is our ARP money that we can't just use for,
Oh, okay. I
Anything,
didn't know that.
yeah.
Then we're
Yeah.
less than 100,000 this year.
right, yeah.
So we
Yeah.
just have to watch ourselves closely.
Bob, if I may, sir, for the benefit of those that may see the tape later, again, 2,800 members, what is this agreement to do with Big Plum, sir?
What is what?
What is the township wanting to do with Big Plum Run? Repaving?
Yeah, repay.
Well, thank you, sir,
Yeah.
very much.
Okay, yeah, I thought I mentioned that, but I'm not.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we have 2 grants out for that. Now.
We have a DCED and a Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
Both different funds, both the same thing, just come from different funds.
Is there a component of Big Plum that may be available for the Dirt and Gravel Road program, do you know?
I tried Mr. Remick. Actually, where I was going to start was that end of Big Plum because that is the worst.
Okay.
And we were going to start with drainage down there around Stewart Road and Big Plum. We got a letter of denial because they deemed that ditch, which is nothing more than a drainage ditch, they call it a creek now.
Right.
They call it a tributary to Big Plum Run Road. You cannot maintain it. You cannot touch it. You cannot do anything to it. but look at it.
Well, that's why I posed the question. I wondered if it might not now be eligible for the dirt and gravel road program. In
That
fact,
was through-
we
that
can
was
talk
through
about that later, or maybe you've already chased that down.
That was through the dirt and gravel
I see,
program.
I see.
That
Thank
was-
you very much. You chased that down then. Very good.
What else needs brought up for tonight?
Tree service for 2022. Back to what Dave was saying. I think, fellas, we need to have somebody on bid. You know, we need to go around and look at our trees, not only for the roads that we decide. What happens if we get a tornado at July 4th and Tommy's camping, I'm camping, Billy, you're camping, I know you camp, Gail's camping.
I got my chainsaw. I don't care.
Who do we call? We could start calling 100 people, but we have a bid contract with Lecce Electric to cover our red lights for this same thing. When the red lights go down, we call Lecce, they come up, they take care of it, we don't even have to talk to them. Who do we call for tree service? I mean, yes, we have contractors in our township, but if they're already out, they're not gonna come running back. You know, if they're out in Pine Creek, or if they're out in Wayne, or in Lock Haven, or
Well, when you do this, going around to cut trees, that is all gonna be put out to bid for what? a lot of
correct, yes,
people, right?
yes, yep. So that's what I think we need for the tree service for 2022. I think we need to seriously sit down and look at a contractor, sit down and, you know, put it out for bid. Various spots, you know, we would have to go around and look at and see what the roads are that are the worst. We know the Island Road, we know Weaver Hill. Big Plum has a few way down, that's leaning out pretty good.
Cider press.
Cider Press.
So it's Fargus Island.
Look at them, okay, say, okay, these are the roads we need to concentrate on, but we also want somebody on 24/7 standby, just like we do with Lecce Electric, that can say, hey, if we would happen to get a tornado, we can call you to come bail us out.
Well, what about just the average tree down there? Are we gonna still maintain that? Or is that?
Depending, you know, if nobody's around, we'd have to call our contractor, you know? Or 9 times out of 10, the fire company will take care of it.
If a tree falls down and it's on private ground, doesn't the owner of the property have to pay for it? I mean, we can clean it, but don't they have to reimburse us?
I'm not sure about that.
I think they do. I think they do.
I've never been asked.
We've never gone after it, but I think it's something to think about.
So do you think that is something to look into?
Yes, I do.
I do too. To daylight, but then also have a regular bid contract, you know. Oh, they are, yeah.
What about Ed Connect? Is he still in there?
He does it, yeah, there's various contractors in our township.
Oh, yes, ours was a good one.
Yep.
SARS is another one, yeah.
So I think after,
Ours done a lot of work for us, too.
He's worked.
and Bobby, I'm gonna look at Billy here a little bit. I'm not,
He needs flagmen, SAR does.
yeah.
Mike and SAR need some flagmen.
Oh.
I about run over a couple of his guys over on the cider press issue, right there by Hamburger's driveway. They come around the swale, and there they all were. Right out in the middle of the road, their trucks. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill someone. I wasn't driving that fast. I would have been. I would have killed
He's got a
them.
big crew and a lot of equipment.
So I'm gonna look at Billy here. Billy told me we need to sit down after the first of the year and look at some of these roads and look at what our, you know, the worst roads are. We can't do them all. We know that. And look at the worst roads and put it out for bid. But just like Wayne and them did, if you're gonna put it out for bid, you must be present at the bid meeting. You know,
Yeah.
you can't telephone in. You must be present at the bid. That's what Woodward did.
Everybody's in the
Everybody
same-
gets the same information, the same input, everything.
They all we had a
Like a bid packet.
a pre-bid meeting, and we took them all at the same time.
Yep.
So there was no questions.
I think we need to seriously do that. After, you know, I mean, here we are, 3 months from,
When
or
we
3
do
weeks
that,
from
we
the
need
first
to
one.
do that driveway ordinance too. You know.
Yep.
I would-
Maybe we can get a copy of Pine Creek and take a look at it. So they'll have to
PennDOT,
reinvent them.
we can get PennDOT's too.
You have it.
I don't know how much you're gonna do this.
It's in that same.
Ours is 32,000.
Bob, could you by any chance tell me what what it costs for us to do that bridge over there on Cider Press? What that cost?
Originally, they would not let us put a pipe in over there.
Right.
Okay. So after this COVID come out and everything, and people started quitting their jobs and not quitting their, not going to their jobs and so on, they couldn't even make one for us. You know, so now, after all that happened, they let us put a pipe in.
Right.
Our engineer missed about 20 feet, so we got it half done, and the man that was putting it in,
Patrick.
McGee, yeah, he himself run out to where? Evansburg, and picked up another.
But what was the cost to have it done?
Okay, what was that? 35. Yeah.
Was that put up for bid?
Yes, it was put up for bid.
It was put up for
Yes,
bid.
What?
Okay.
And that 30, that was 150,000 was the cost originally with the overhead bridge and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Who all bid on that? Could you tell me that?
I don't know offhand anymore.
It wasn't put up for bid.
It was not put up for bid.
It was telephone quotes.
I thought you just said they had to be present to bid on a job.
No, this is what's coming.
This is what's coming.
Trees, what we're talking about.
Why only trees?
That's what they were talking about when they
I know,
said
but I'm
that.
talking about the
That we're
bridge.
getting into that, Jan. That's my next thing here.
Okay.
Equipment bidding for 2022.
Okay.
I think we need to sit down and look into 2022. We've always run into he got this job, he got that job, I got this job, you didn't get that job. Nanny boo. A lot of townships are bidding out bidding out their bid contractors by equipment. Sam, I don't know if Benson is familiar with this. If he ever runs into this, I've seen it in Center County. Union Township was one of them. They would put out their equipment or their jobs, whatever, for that year, and bid them at one time, like a big envelope. You know what I mean? Okay, we got pipe here, this here, that here, whatever. Put it out for bid at the beginning of the year. Each contractor has a chance to bid on it. You know what I mean? They know what the jobs are.
And there's a time limit on each one of these and so on.
Oh, I would, yeah.
As long as we know in advance.
It sounds like a good idea to me. I'm not gonna be here to do any of
We
it.
know all the jobs that are.
Well, you would have to go around and look at, your
That's a
pipes.
job in itself.
You have to plan everything out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Well, it'd be easy to budget from that point.
Okay. Anything else?
Tell me.
At the beginning of the year last year, this sheet was made up of the jobs that we had within the township that we're going to do. And there's, I think there's 24 or 25 of these pieces on here, and I crossed them off as it was getting done. The only one, did you put tire chains on the grader? Okay. That's the only one here that I don't have marked off that we had done. We had some roof work done on this. We're going to put new bathrooms and stuff in here. We got a grant from that, yes. And the park, the water needed turned off and on. It's off now. The park's all cleaned up. And it just goes on and on to all the things, including the oil and chips that we done on the different roads. And I'm really pleased to say that we covered 99% of all this, and all you guys all should have a cover sheet of this, I think this would be a good idea for next year too, And then you know what jobs that you're gonna bid out in a package and so on, so I'll just leave mine, that sheet here, and because there's probably some of those that's gonna be repeated. So, okay, Lee, do you have anything for us?
Nothing.
Corey, anything else?
The only thing I got, Bob, is I just wanted to thank you for your service while you were here.
Yeah.
I think you've done a great job, and
Thank you. Thank you. I always did my best. You know, just,
you've done very well.
uh,
You've had ups and downs, and have worked through it.
You get too fat.
common sense, you know.
Shut the door now.
Yeah, use your own good common sense. And, so.
I got into that.
Look at that. I get a compliment on one hand, now they're calling me a dog on the
They
other.
Two dogs. I didn't do the dog thing, Bob, I'm telling you.
No, Bobby, thank you. I think the three of us have worked very well together. We've had ups and downs and opinions and arguments on what should be patched, what shouldn't be patched, and everything, but I think we have all done very well together, three of us.
A lot. We work together. Oh, look at this. Well, thank you, everybody.
Well, now he goes,
This is appreciated. Bill, I hope you work well with these other two fellows, because they're big boys.
Just gotta get them to work.
They're not afraid to
I just
work.
hope Tom brings his cookies to work like I did today.
Just gotta get them to work.
Today started where last weekend.
So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby.
Okay, I'm going to,
You have your report. I'm gonna. Seems like you're all ready to go because. I'll just. You guys have it if you want to read it. We'll be
No, that's,
Okay.
you already emailed it and
One
everything.
thing, this isn't supervisor's vision, but someone just dumped a big couch down over the back of the cemetery.
He said he had-
Make a round around there every now and then.
Oh, you want
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. So,